Welcome back to the Abandoned Project series, and yes, it has become a series because last time I told you I would make other episodes if the first episode reached 100 likes and, well, you guys smashed that like button instead of gently tapping it, so consider subscribing as there will soon be a couple more of those. Lundway is a steampunk mini park that I started to work on for Corvus's 5K contest. It's a contest, I must win, I thought to myself, but trust me when I say you can't win a contest if you can't finish it. Still, I tried to continue the park after I failed to meet the deadline, with the light of motivation dwindling month after month until I simply let the project rot and die in my save files. Obviously, I gotta address the elephant in the room, which is the fact that this park was the Daniel of the cooler Daniel, my other Lundway in my Marvelous Realms series, but much like that meme, it too got forgotten and withered away. I'm sorry, little one. We'll talk more about the two Marvelous Realms parks in the next episode. For now, let's focus on the original Lundway. As this contest's rules stipulated that you had to build an area and not a mini park, the entrance of this area is odd to say the least. You emerge from a steamy black box and just go out of what is supposed to be a sub-rail station, Lundway's equivalent of a metro if you will. You're greeted by quite the overwhelming sight, almost too much to look at if I'm honest. As you get to the entrance plaza, you've got a choice to make. Either go join the queue for Heligliders on the left, our Maurer spinning coaster, go to the toilet on the right with a beautiful view on Stuntroopers, our Gerstlauer Sky Fly, or go down the streets of Lundway in the middle. Naturally, we'll explore all of these options, so let's start with our spinning coaster Heligliders on our left. The storyline for this ride is that the Forge of Flight, this innovative aeronautical company, needs pilots for the test flights of their new gliders, and you're the perfect candidate for that. As you enter the headquarters, the front desk will direct you towards your appointment with Captain Wright, who supervises the tests. He's just one of the Ghostbusters, I know, but he's telling you where you're supposed to glide, so pay attention. Once you go past the familiar control tower, you get a beautiful view of the rest of the area from a bridge that leads you to the station. I wanted this station to make you feel like this building was something else before it got transformed into the boarding gate for this prototype, and that's why it feels so claustrophobic and why there's a lot of clutter everywhere. I mean, it's also because clutter is the key to a park that feels lived into. Anyway, shall we take a ride on Heligliders? As you can see, this coaster's layout was complete, but most of its layout is unthemed, especially when you go towards the back of the area. You can also see how my elevator technique at the time was terrible and not realistic at all, so that's definitely something I improved on in the Realms version of Lundway. But overall, the parts that are themed are really cool. I especially like the dark ride section underneath the station and the interactions with the Skyfly and its environment. And the layout is fun. The first drop out of the station building is inspired by Crush's coaster at Disneyland Paris. The wild mouse looking turns are definitely inspired by the winches, in fact so is the elevator. And you can find classic Maurer spinner elements like the horseshoe or the S-turret. I think what this coaster and this project in general suffered from was that I bit off more than I could chew, and it's gonna be a running theme throughout this video with a sharp contrast between what has been finished and looks decent although a bit boxy, and what hasn't been finished which is absolutely empty and sad. Anyway, we come off the ride and meet our visionary equipment shop, which wasn't a full shop in this version but a mere shop box, but it was themed at the very least. You also get a great view of the interaction between the bridge of the queue, the ride, and the steam jump scare. I'm still very proud of how I used the space here. Now that we've seen Heligliders, let me tease you Stuntroopers once again as we make our way to our first toilets. It's the only finished attraction in this park after all, and probably my favorite. The Stuntroopers, not the toilets. I mean, look at the view you get from this vantage point. We'll get back to that ride, I promise. For now, it's toilet nerd time, and yes, that is a thing, I swear. Search for theme park toilets on Instagram, it's a whole thing. We have custom mirrors, sinks, hand dryers, and of course, actual toilets. All of that surrounded by pipes of hot and cold water because themed toilets are the best. I can't wait to make themed toilets in Planet Coaster 2 because so far, I only tried making steampunk toilets and I really want to try something else. Alright, now let's get down to the streets of Lundway thanks to these cursed paths that were a nightmare to theme, but a fun challenge nevertheless. They offer views on Heligliders or Stuntroopers and lead you to an even bigger plaza with Dropships and S&S El Loco. I know you didn't have that on your bingo card, did ya? This one is dropping underneath us, which is just awesome in my opinion. I'm not even ashamed to toot my own horn with that one. Let's take a ride on that, no need to show you the queue line because... Oh. You want to see why? Well... Right, let's just ride Dropships, yeah? Dropships definitely is a fun but janky and odd coaster. I appreciate the dive coaster concept that was clearly inspired by Baron 1898 at Efteling as if it had a beyond vertical drop, but the rest just feels off, doesn't it? Fun fact, this is the first coaster where I tried to do custom supports and... well, it shows. This is just weird and makes zero sense, but I did do some good work with the Outer Banked Hill in my opinion. I remember looking at reference pictures of Canva, which is not on the same scale, but I imagine that the forces would be similar. Anyway, moving on, I'm just going to mention how the back left portion of the project is totally empty with a shot tower that started underground called Escape Hatch that would have immersed you into an abandoned subrail station overrun by strange creatures which would have just been Ghostbusters ghosts if I'm honest, and you would have had to escape. It's kind of inspired by Nemesis Subterra, but of course steampunky and less phalanxy too. Moving on from there, we go to the most finished part of the area with a familiar looking toilet if you've seen episode 1 of Marvelous Realms, again, complete with mirrors, sinks, hand dryers, actual toilets, you get the gist of it now. And we also have the Lindbergh Lounge, an unfinished bar that would have been a reference to the bar in the Charles Lindbergh Hotel at Phantasialand. After that we go into a more complete street with our trusty fire truck a la Rookburg standing by and we get to yet another plaza. I love my plazas, don't judge me, which actually reminds me we're going to have a blast with those in Planet Coaster 2 in a few weeks. This plaza was made so that our guests could admire Stuntroopers, our beautiful Sky Fly. While doing that, you can win prizes at Captain Clancy's Clock Rain or get a bag of popcorn at Popcorn's Mill, and yes, you can choose between sweet and salty. But the real star of the show is Stuntroopers, and to go board these, you will have to go through the warehouse of Lady Brave's Worst Ballistics, a reimagining of René Feu, who would have roamed around this place, but even if this park never opened and therefore never saw this staff member in its streets, I reused the idea in Lil La City, the PlayStation Collab Adventure Park, which is actually very much linked to today's abandoned project. If you remember the Explorer Society who are conducting the expedition to the Lost City, this is where the idea came from. We can even see their building in the corner of this area. In fact, there are boxes sprinkled around the park that are meant to be shipped to this other park as Easter eggs. But yes, as the name suggests, Lady Brave's Ballistics wanted to weaponize the power of steam to create super soldiers with jetpacks that could have had the advantage on ground troops by attacking them from the air. That is why they developed this prototype called the Stuntroopers, and you're here to test them. Shall we take one last ride? And voila! This is the first version of Lundway that has never seen the light of day. If you want to see more abandoned projects, namely the fate of my 2 Marvelous Realms projects, subscribe to the channel and leave a like to let me know you enjoyed the video. If you want to talk about this project, you can do so in the comments or by chatting in the Yan HQ, my Discord server, with the link in the description. I just launched the channel supporter memberships, which gives you 2 days of early access to new videos, sneak peeks at ongoing projects, and cool badges next to your name in Premiere chats, which Shane Turner, New Channel, and Birdie are already rocking. Many thanks to all 3 of you for taking this extra step in supporting the channel. If you'd like to join my supporters, the link to do so is also in the description. Thank you all for watching this video. This has been Yan, and I'll see you in the next one.